This chart tracks the projected decay of modern employment. According to macro data from McKinsey, by the year 2030, 40% of the active professional skills you are currently paid for will be completely obsolete. Jobs rarely just disappear overnight. Instead, they get compressed. Your specific outputs become commoditized by automation, and the market rate for your labor drops too low to actually live on. If you are blindly running the standard playbook of a ground-level executor, your baseline income is facing a systemic liquidation. Trading your time for linear labor metrics is a mathematical path to zero. To survive, you have to transition from a laborer into a system architect. An architect does not execute the manual labor. They step back, map the structural inefficiencies in the market, and calculate how to build autonomous wealth machines. Surviving this transition requires mastering a very specific, non-negotiable sequence of high-leverage business skills. Shifting your focus away from personal execution and towards system building is a tactical response to a market that is rapidly devaluing human labor hours. This brings us to a wealth vehicle known as the Silver Tsunami. By the mid-2030s, roughly 6 million American small businesses will change hands, representing a staggering $5 trillion in total enterprise value. These are highly viable, cash-generating operations owned by individuals who never engineered a formal succession plan. In fact, over 40% of them state they would rather shut the business down and lose everything than work another year if they cannot find a buyer. This is a massive structural inefficiency. We are talking about highly predictable but entirely unglamorous physical operations, like local plumbing routes, commercial roofing, or a neighborhood car wash. This ledger maps the exact mathematics of a micro-private equity acquisition. You locate a profitable car wash with a total purchase price of $750,000. Because the owner's alternative is total liquidation, they are structurally primed to carry the financing terms themselves. You gather a group pool for a $150,000 upfront deposit and structure the remaining $600,000 balance as a seller-financed debt note. You pay that debt note directly out of the company's ongoing revenue. Even if you make absolutely zero internal optimizations, your year-one net take-home cash flow scales directly to $170,000. Amateurs refuse to touch these operations because they involve dirty physical labor. Wealth architects ignore status and focus exclusively on the compounding margins. While the physical world offers cash flow, the digital world demands scale. An amateur uses artificial intelligence to write a single generic email. A systems architect engineers an automated matrix. This flowchart illustrates a modern agentic architecture. Agent 1 scans the web for corporate leads, passing the data to Agent 2 for hyper-personalized outreach. Agent 3 automates the follow-ups based on open rates. Agent 4 qualifies the intent. Agent 5 writes customized proposals. And Agent 6 feeds the fulfillment metrics right back into the first loop. Because generative models can now print infinite copy, code, and design at zero marginal cost, the value of raw execution has plummeted. The structural bottleneck of business has moved. When execution is free, editorial curation, your capacity to identify the single high-value option among thousands, becomes the primary value driver. This is the business of taste. Applied aesthetics systematically compress consumer decision time and drive immediate brand authority. This is exactly why design-driven organizations historically crush the broader market. They understand that structural beauty is a clinical trust accelerator. The machines handle the heavy lifting, but consumer perception degrades the moment an offer feels artificial. The absolute market premium belongs to the operator who polishes that synthetic output until it crosses the threshold of human emotional resonance. You can spend decades stacking these technical capabilities, but if you lack the capacity to walk into a boardroom and dictate terms, you will systematically surrender half of your lifecycle upside to a superior negotiator. By the end of the decade, the market will be entirely saturated with flawless, AI-written sales scripts and cheap persuasion campaigns. Everyone will have a perfect pitch. Despite all that technological perfection, closing a multi-million-dollar transaction still requires looking another human being directly in the eye to evaluate whether they are actually capable of following through. Elite operators do not act like transactional parasites. reaching out only when they need a favor. They quietly compound relationship equity over decades by proving they can execute under pressure and passing high-value opportunities to their circle without demanding immediate credit. In an economy where everything digital can be cloned, human trust at scale is your final defensive perimeter. It is the tool that turns potential into cold reality. You now possess the structural blueprint to insulate your income, but holding this information yields exactly zero financial return without aggressive real-world execution. Stop living on default salaries and default respect. Start treating your career like an engineered machine. If you are ready to write the terms of your own life equation, hit the subscribe button and type the word future in the comments below to lock in your strategy. The wealth algorithm is running right in front of you. Those who calculate their trajectory today will own the systems of the next decade, while everyone else faces the 2030 liquidation. Keep building.